What's up guys, this is Void of Dust Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena of Valor content. Today I've got another guide for you. As you can see, we are talking about the mage slash fox Liliana, who is one of my favorite mages out there in the game. She has been quite strong since she has been introduced in the game always, so she has always been at the top of the meta, but with the magic resistance cuts, so the decreases in the magic resistance in items and all the buffs that the magic items have received, she has become even stronger, and I think she's one of the strongest mages in the game so far. I had a really fun game lately, and that just brought me to the point that we need another guide on another mage. And it's mainly focusing on beginners, but if you are an experienced player, there might be some information in this that you haven't actually known about. Maybe eventually, maybe you will have an alternative build that you want to try out, or it's just for entertainment purposes and you're going to focus on the gameplay, because this video is actually divided into 3 different sections. At first, we're going to talk about the abilities, especially because she's got some unique mechanics, because she can transform herself into a fox from the human form that you can see here on that leaf. Petal or whatever it is standing here in the water. I think it's a water rose or something, a water lily. So this is like the unique stuff that we're talking about in terms of the skills. Then we're talking about the item build, the arcana and the enchantments. And then last but not least, I've got some gameplay where you can actually see how good she is right now in the game, because I'm going to score a lot of kills. So without further ado, let's hop right into the skills section. As I already said, she is a human that can transform herself into a fox. You can already tell because she's got some fox things here. So she got 5 tails here. She can transform them up to 9 tails. It reminds me a little bit of the 9-tailed fox that is there in the Japanese mythology. I think the reference is quite clear. A lot of people might have seen Naruto, so you know the drills. This is going to be a fun game with a fox, and I think she's looking quite cool as well if she is in the human form. So the bread and butter is transforming herself into the fox, because it's giving her unique abilities. She's got a really strong poke when she is in the human form with good range, and as soon as she hits the fox form, she gets great mobility and she's able to burst the enemies down. So in my opinion, Liliana was more sorts of a poke champion in the past, but I think she has become a really bursty champion just because of her passive and some of the enhancement that she gets by using her spells. So she's able to whittle down enemies in seconds. Fox form is unlocked as soon as you hit level 4. It's her ultimate. So it's the same drill as with all the other ultimates in the game. If you hit level 4 and you put a point in your ultimate, you can then transform from the human into fox form from then on for the remaining game. So her spells are going to switch when you are going into fox form. As you can see, this is the human form, this is the fox form. So we are going to talk about the passive, the unique ultimate, and the human spells at first. Her passive is called fox form. It just says that she's got 2 forms, human and fox. If she is in the human form, she will just get ranged normal attacks, which is actually quite normal. I think she is a mage, so many mages have range attacks, so this is not something that we care about too much. Just take it, it's cool. But the important stuff is, if she is transforming herself into a fox, she does not only get additional armor and magic defense and a speed buff, but what's really important about it, her normal attacks, the auto attacks in fox form, are dealing additional damage. So it's 100% more damage coming from all the attack damage that you have gained so far, plus 20% of your ability power, which is magic damage. That's going to add up quite nicely. So all of this is magic damage. So this is huge, because it's going to be calculated with the magic resistance that the enemies have. So this is not AD damage, but this is magic damage, and that's really good. Her first ability then in human form is called Shining Light. She focuses her magic, and she's going to deal at least 600 up to 900 damage. That is multiplied, or you get a damage increase, which is 70% of your current AP. magic damage as well. And if you hit more enemies, then your normal attacks are enhanced. So what you want to do, you want to hit as many enemies as possible. Sometimes it's kind of easy to pull off. If you can do it, then try to do it. But if you can't do it, just focus on the target that is the most important to kill, and leave it beside. Don't try anything stupid. If it's good, then it's good, and if not, then it doesn't. So the unique thing about Shining Light is that it's actually a spell that has an AoE kind of range, and wherever you launch the spell immediately hits the enemy. So this is not a projectile that flies, it's just something that's kind of exploding from the bottom of the ground. So this is really powerful because it means that other heroes, champions, and minions can't block this kind of spell. It will always hit. If there is an enemy, it will hit and it will deal damage. And that's what makes it really, really good, because you can just poke behind the front lines. Your second ability, Blinding Light, is actually a missile, so it's a projectile that's going to travel a certain distance, and whenever it hits something, then it's going to be triggered with 450 up to 700 damage, and it's going to stun the enemy for a second. So the important thing about it is that this is the stuff that actually makes crowds and heroes controllable. It's just 1 second, but this second is actually quite valuable. So what you want to do, your initial combo if you are in the human form, will be you want to hit the enemy with this Blinding Light, stun them, and then you've got 1 second to hit them with your first ability, the Shining Light. It's not really that complicated, it's just S2, S1. If you got a pathing. If you don't have the pathing, just use Shining Light without the projectile, because it just means that you're going to waste mana and you're going to put that on a minion or something. So you should have a free range upon an enemy to hit them with Blinding Light. And that's basically the human form. Your ultimate is going to be this switch between the human and the fox form. So that means if you're in human form, you're going to enter the fox form. You will deal some damage on the way, like along the path, and you're going to slow down enemies for 30 seconds. The really important thing about all this ultimate is if you are traveling from human to fox form, you will be untargetable for the casting time. That means that you can avoid tower shots or ultimates and crazy damage with this. So this is really important. Second important thing is that you're going to get additional armor and additional magic defense for 4 seconds after you entered fox form. And if you are switching back from the fox to human form, you will get 80 ability power for 4 seconds when you entered human form. And if you are going from human form into fox form, you will have like small templates behind you, and those are going to explode and you're going to deal additional damage. That's not in this description, but it's there, and it's actually quite nice. It's not something where you will kill enemies all the time, but it's actually something that can help you to deal some damage when enemies are actually following you. So those were the human forms. If you are in the fox form, your first ability, Shining Light, is replaced by Foxtrot. You're going to attack enemies in front of you. It's like a cone shaped, so something like this, and you're going to dash in. It's just like a short dash, so it's more some sort of leap towards the enemy, and then you're going to unleash your abilities like that. You can see the damage. If you are going to hit something with it, your normal attacks are enhanced, and that means that you're going to deal 3 consecutive strikes. So you always want to ensure that you hit something, because it actually deals more damage. But this is your wave clearing tool. If there is something, you can even apply it on towers, I suppose. So this is your bread and butter, and if you are building rares, this is the stuff where you are going to infuse your health. This is really, really good. Your second ability, if you are in the fox form, is called Leap of the Fox. So you are dashing towards an enemy, dealing damage along the path. And the cool thing about it, that's actually super unique, is as soon as you hit an enemy, you will see that your Leap of the Fox has been replaced with some kind of bubblish looking spell. And this is called a Reiki, and it reminds me of a Biju bomb. So if you are dashing through or towards an enemy and you hit them, you will get this massive bomb, and you're going to unleash it from yourself, and it's going to follow the enemies behind, dealing tremendous amounts of damage. It's 1000 damage plus 100% of HP magic damage to the target and nearby enemies. It's a little bit slow. I don't think that you can avoid this spell by just running away. I think you need to sprint or you need to flicker somewhere to avoid it. But this is actually going to be a really, really, really big source of damage if you can hit it. So what you can do to ensure that, if we're talking about combos, what you want to do is, if you are in fox form, you want to dash into the enemy using your S2. Then you will have the Reiki Bomb. You're going to activate Reiki Bomb immediately, turn straight back into human form and snare the enemy or stun the enemy with your S2, the Blinding Light. So this is going to be your initial combo if it's about the Reiki build. What you can do from the human into fox form is that you can actually do something like snare them, turn into fox, dash right into them, then use your first ability. If they are going to retreat, you can then use your Leap of the Fox to follow them behind. Or you're going to hop back and then fire a S2 followed by an S1 from the human form into the enemy. It's going to burst them down immediately. And I've got the gameplay where you can actually see that. So these were the skills. I would say let's continue with the actual build that I come up with for the upcoming video. So as all the stuff about the skills was actually quite extensive, I'm going to make it as short as possible. So the build is focused on getting as much damage out there as possible with as little sustainability or usability as possible on the other hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build Gilded Greaves because I'm going to be in melee, and therefore I want to have the best crowd control reduction possible, and this is coming from this item. Then I'm going with the Boomstick because of the unique passive. You are going to hit targets that are next to the initial target that you set up. Apocalypse is here because of the elemental power. After using a skill, the next normal attack deals additional magic damage, so this is working quite nicely with her fox form. Diadem is here, of course, for the 35% ability power increase. We've got Staff of Newell because we want to get the magic pierce on all the items that we have. And then I've got going with the last item, which is Arctic Orb, which helps you if you are diving into the enemies in fox form and you just see that you can't really hit them. Everyone is evading, getting away, flickers and stuff like that. So this is going to be your safety button. So every single time you press that, you will be out of the game for 2 seconds, and that can help you to help your team to regroup, or it's just going to be this one last tower shot that was about to kill you, but you can just shake it off by using this. So this is your main build. In terms of Arcana, I'm going with something that's straightforward as hell. I'm going with 10 times Violate, I'm going with 10 times Devour, and I'm going with 10 times Hex. I think Violate and Devour are actually not really that questionable. I'm taking Hex here for the additional cooldown reduction because I'm rather having cooldown reduction than Flurry with the Magic Pen, but this is my personal preference, so you can change it to the stuff that you would like to get. And enchantment wise, as I said, we're going full damage, so the whole build here is tweaked on getting maximum damage output. So we are going with Acts of Sacrifice, we're going with the Holy Verdict, we're going with Holy Thunder, and we're using Raging Inferno and Deadly Cloud to boost our power even further. So this is not really that difficult. It's all about damage, and that's what this game is about to be, that you're going to see right now, because now we've got some gameplay. Okay guys, here we go. So this is the actual gameplay, and it's going to be actually quite huge and quite impressive, especially from the beginning. Like usually you have these encounters where things are going back and forth, there's one kill, there's another kill. This is going to be a brutal battle from the start, and you can see we are being really aggressive on invading here the jungle of the enemy at the red pathing at first. And I've been taking the second ability here because I wanted to eventually stun a target to make it easier for my team to either get the buff or get out. That was my intention at first. And now I see that there's stuff going on at the top. So Thorn and Zenial are fighting against Zill and Crashed. And here we go. This is where the damage starts to shine. So as you can see, Zill is going to get in. Thorn is really low, and a combination from my abilities followed by this brutal attack that I got from the enhanced auto attacks is actually enough to get me a double kill right from the start. So I think the positioning of our enemies was really, really bad, and this is even better now. We're up at 3 kills, and the game has just been played 1 minute and 30, and I don't know what's going on. This is just crazy. 4 kills at the start of this game. Not even 2 minutes have been played, and I think this brutal combination of this really hefty spells that you get right from the start, the combination of the stun with your lovely damage from your first abilities, actually making Liliana a pretty oppressive enemy at the beginning of the game. And if you can make her scale, she's even more dangerous, because that just means that she's going to get items even faster. And I got the red buff here, which kind of makes it even easier for me to get into the enemies and get the range spells done. So here we go, another kill for me, and unfortunately it's not enough to get me the 6th kill, but I can deal with that, and my mana is actually quite low. So it's sometimes appealing to fight and throw out spells as much as possible as often. Or as often as possible, but the problem is that she is actually quite mana hungry. So even when the spells are just like 40 mana or 50 mana in like for a single spell, you need to be careful to not run out of your mana, because it's your main source of damage. Like, mana is damage. Every single point that you're wasting on not hitting the target or not hitting the target sufficient is actually going to decrease your mana flow. Here I got the Reiki Bombard. You can see that blossom thing in the bubble. That was my Reiki, and I was a little bit too slow on getting the combo out here. To be fair with you guys, I was actually quite hyped about the stuff that happened earlier in the game. And here we go, in Reiki Bomb, and here we go. That was the Reiki Bomb. But I think Dirac has been protected because of his unique passive that prevents lethal damage for the first time as long as he still has mana. And now we can use the Reiki Bomb to the fullest. And that was the Reiki Bomb straight into Zenial's face. And it even damaged Errol standing next to me. And that's what I said. Like, if the enemy is close, this enemy is going to be damaged from your Reiki Bomb as well. So this is what's making this spell just so crazy powerful. And we have not really gotten any items so far. So here we go. This is the first item, Boomstick. But that said, the game is already 6-1 for me. And I literally built my first item right now after 4 minutes 30. And the game has been going on really, really well. So wave clear is actually quite good because of your S1, even in human form. And what I do is I always try to run around as the mage, because it just means that I can set up stuff as I was doing here. And then if I see an opportunity to get in and get some kills or deal lethal damage or get tremendous amounts of damage in, I will switch into fox form. So usually I'm not traveling in fox form, but I will do travel as you guys could see here. That was the perfect example. We went in as a mage, we put some pressure on him, he was about to retreat, and then I went straight into fox form, dashed behind him when he was about to run away, and then we have been able to get the kill in this combo sequence. So this is actually, it's my kind of playstyle. I always like to get into human form and then finish it off with fox form, and it was just working so nice. Oh my goodness. I mean, yes, that was poorly played by Dirac, and now I can't help it but be killed by Errol as retaliation, because yes, it's all about mobility, so you should never be so close standing still Turin Errol, because it's still an Errol. I mean, he's got a freaking X that he can just transform his arm into. So this is going to tell you something. You don't want to have that straight in your face as I just had in this combat sequence. Ultimate. So game is looking actually quite good. As you can see, we've got 16 kills in here, 8 kills for myself. So half of the kills are my record, and now it's all about focusing on the towers, get some items, not dash into the towers. That wasn't what I was referring about. And now it's time to get away. I don't really fear Zenial. I mean, it's a champion that you don't really get too often on the battlefield, so I won't focus on tactics against Zenials. But if you are playing Liliana against Zenial, there's not really that much that you are going to fear about him, because he is just super weak. Like, he's got a shield, he got this knock-up effect. Of course, the combination with a strong AD carry is something that you should always pay attention to, but usually it's not really that much of a deal. Unfortunately, I was dashing a little bit too far, so that was the Fox form dash and the leap of the Fox dash, so that brought me a little bit too far upon the enemies, but otherwise that would have been my kill. Again, I don't really care about him at all. Now I need to be careful. I could use my Reiki here. Yeah, use my Reiki. And now I've got all the time in the world to get back and back off. Because they can't really do anything against me if I'm standing so far behind. And I need to be a little bit careful, because Direct still got some range stuff. But I think Zenial was just not aware of the fact that I was standing behind them, so I had the opportunity to just stun him with my S2. So you can also use your S2 as some kind of support spell if you don't have that much life left, or you're just waiting for an engage. You could always go in and try to use it like that. So I was opening up the path for Arthur, who managed to get in and kill Dirac. That was a little bit too risky for myself. Like, I was thinking about it, but I just said, okay, this is not going to be something that I want to risk, because the benefit from it is just too little to risk it. And as you can see, we are just getting on the towers and we're dealing so much damage. It's even that the cannon minions are now 2 shots, and I don't even have the most gold in our team, so it's just 5-2 because I wasn't farming, I was just getting kills. But it's just looking brutal for the enemies. 8-6 on my record. This is going to be crazy, and there are more kills to come, so this is not the end of this game. We got some additional minutes to play. And look at that, like, the wave clear is actually really solid, even without wasting your second ability. I guess that's something that you should hold back if you are in a fighting situation, even if it's on 5 seconds cooldown, so the cooldown is actually quite little. It's a really important spell, and you should always have it up if that is possible, and not waste it like that. Oh my goodness, yeah, that wasn't executed too well. Could have been a little bit better, but I think it's okay. I think we have done a good enough job for our team so far. So here we go, Zenial again, and that was the S2. That was the S2 straight into his face, and it just gives my team a great opportunity to get in and get some valuable health points back from him. And oh my goodness, that poor soul. That was the Reiki again. So there wasn't really fights where I was been able to get the Reiki in with the combo sequence, as I said, but this is just so bad. I even got him. I think there was one auto attack that I triggered upon him, and then he was going back to safety as he's supposed with his third jump on his S1, the Murad, and I think that one auto attack just traveled straight behind him and got right into his back when he was about to get out. Well, can't help it. 10 kills, 2 deaths, and now we've got the diadem, and this is going to boost our damage even further. So we're not even full build, and we're just putting crazy amounts of damage. Look at that arrow. This is the time where Errol actually is using his ultimate to get away from a Liliana. Enough said, I suppose. And now I can just chill in the backline and use my spells in order to damage the enemies. As I said, I'm just staying back using my skills. That was what this was all about. And yeah, this is basic the game. So there's not really that much that they can do against this. I'm still on good enough health to even fight in melee against Thorn, for example. And I think Liliana's new strength is just brutal. It's brutal how good she has become. And this really nice combination of being super mobile as a fox and having devastating magic abilities as a mage is the whole package. It's like it's like your happy meal. So you've got a drink, you've got something to snack, and then you've got this great mobility. I mean, you could just run away. They don't even get me. Like, there's not really that much that they could do. I'm just chilling. There's the laser beam. I'm just sidestepping it. Here we go. And unfortunately, I was standing a little bit too far in front of Zill, because Zill could have tanked that for me without any problem. And now I just put Thorn in the upper bracket in his team. But yeah, here we go. Telenas is still alive. Zill is still alive. Crash is still alive. Arthur is still alive. And they're all pushing. And oh my goodness, look at that damage. That was really nicely executed. And Zill is just making fun. Crash is just making fun of them. Look at that. It's just crazy how much health he has, especially in old form. And my team is just cutting the thing, and they're ending the enemy. It's right now, great crowd control. Yes, that was great crowd control. Zill gets a shutdown on Thorn, but it doesn't matter because the game is over. This is my Liliana guide. I hope you guys took something from it. If you enjoy this kind of gameplay and you like these kind of guides, of course a thumbs up is highly appreciated. Of course, if you are not a member of the Void of Dust Club here on YouTube yet, just hit the subscription button, put on the notifications bell, and you will be informed every single time I upload a video, which is every other day right now at 6 o'clock European time. But if you don't want to miss it because you don't have the nerves for this or something, just put the notification bell on active and everything is sorted. And yeah, feel free to put any comment and any thought down in the comment section below this video. And yes, the only thing that I have to wish is stay healthy, stay safe, and have a pleasant evening, and see you soon. Bye-bye.